Guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we take a look at the new Taylormade driver for 2025. Remember, if you like our videos, please hit that subscribe button and tell all your golfing friends. So on today's channel, another year, we bring back Lee from Taylormade to take a look under the hood of these new drivers. Thanks for coming in, Lee. We've done this for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Qi35.
Yeah.
Interesting number. Last year it was Qi10, really driven around the forgiveness of the driver. You can't tell me this is more forgiving. Qi35 more forgiving? But what's going on with the numbers?
So in terms of numbers, you know, we're still going to be at a 10k MOI driver as our maximum forgiveness driver. Yeah, there is legal limits in golf. So let's put a warning on that straight away, that this isn't 35,000. It's not 35,000.
Right, okay, good. So I think that's going to be confusing.
Within the rules of golf, that would be highly illegal.
Okay.
So in terms of the name, 35, you actually kind of need to decouple the 35. It's a 3 and a 5. So the 3 is the 3 pillars of how and why we build golf equipment.
Which is what?
So it's the form, it's the function, and the fit. So form very much comes around, like, you know, the shape of it, you know, when you see carbon of it, a bit like kind of planes, cars, boats. You see kind of the aerodynamics of it and why they show carbon, very much like what we do with our product. Function is, you know, it has to work. It has to launch, it has to spin correctly, it has to perform for every type of golfer. And then the fit, there is a, you know, it has to be fittable, but also as we get into the 5 as well, this is where it links, there's a big fitting element to this product.
Okay, so
then it comes to 5.
Yeah. And
the 5 is 5 models of driver. Now, I will state there that there's 4 models that you will see on the shelf. The
and 5th, one special one.
The 5th is a variant that you will see in the fitting bay.
Okay, yeah. So we'll talk about that. We'll come back to that one because that is quite an interesting concept that you guys have released this year. So let's get into the 4 sellable drivers, if you like. The guys, the drivers that the guys are going to see on the racks in the shops. They're going to take out on the golf course with them. What's under here? I'm going to start pulling some out. So what have we got?
I will start with the one I've got in my hand here, which is LS.
Okay.
So our LS driver. So before we kind of go into model specific, we'll get into some of the tech changes that we've made into the product. So I'll start with what we've still got. So we've still got 9-ply carbon on the sole. We've still got 6-ply carbon on the crown. We've still got 60 layers of carbon twist face in there.
So when you say 9-ply, 6-ply, what are you actually talking about?
How many layers?
So it's these layers compressed together to make sure that they're thick, the thickness of it, if you like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the thickness of the carbon. So obviously the sole needs to be a bit thicker than the crown because this is going to have impact with the floor with some golfers, maybe not with others, but with some it will, whereas this isn't going to be impacted. We've still got our Infinity Carbon Crown, which we introduced last year, so where it flows over now, rather than seeing that kind of lip or the titanium collar that we used to have. We've obviously still got carbon twist face in there, 60 layers, our ledge design, so you know it's much more robust than we've seen in the past. So that's something that's really good on the driver.
So this is all similar to the previous model.
So that's what we've had that's in there in previous, but what we have now changed is we've removed some mass from the crown by using different bonding agents in between those 6 layers.
Okay.
We've added more mass low down. So what that means is we can lower that center of gravity. So
why is that important?
So that's important because what we're trying to create is this what we call bigger area of opportunity. You know, as golfers, we all see those ball flights, certainly as fitters as well, and as golf pros, you will see ball flight change depending on strike location. So out the middle, absolutely brilliant. Everybody wants to hit the middle of the face, but let's be honest, we don't all hit the middle of the face every time.
I've been talking about this for a number of years now, especially in fittings, and we talk about this a lot in store, which is you can sell anyone a driver on a 10 out of 10 strike. You can sell anyone a driver on 10 out of 10 strike. Then you make any driver perform on 10 out of 10 strike. But most golfers would play on a maybe 6 or 7 out of 10 for the duration of their round. So what you're telling me is that you're going to get a more performance, closer to the 10 out of 10 outcome with a 6 or 7 strike out the face.
Exactly that. Because let's be honest, the bad one is when you hit it out the bottom.
Yeah.
Launches low, spins up, you've lost ball speed, you've lost bundles of distance. So by lowering CG in the head, you create that kind of higher area of opportunity to hit the middle and to get that one, you know, if you hit it right off the roof, it's a poor shot. You know, you're going to have poor poor results. But if you hit it slightly high on the face with drivers these days, you know, the launch pops up, yes, you lose a little bit of ball speed, launch goes up, spin comes down, you hit it almost just as far. And for some golfers, they actually hit it further when they hit it just above centre. So we're trying to create that higher area of opportunity. So that's one of the biggest changes.
So this is LS.
This is LS. So LS, we've lost the sliding weight track. We've now got these 3 interchangeable weights. At stock setting, you have 2 3s at the front, 13 at the back. That's its most forgiving setting, a 7800 MOI driver.
Okay.
Now you change that 13 and move that into the front heel or toe. And
so there's no extra weights coming with this?
There's not extra weights.
You just flick the 3 round?
You just flick the 3 round. And then that will obviously make it draw bias, fade bias, depending whether you hit it in heel or toe. It will move CG forward. So what that means is, you know, spin will drop, but at the same time, you do lose a bit of MOI on that.
So, a very, very generic comment what I'm about to say is, what percentage of player do you think is going to go into this LS?
You're going to see your lowest percentage here, kind of, I would say around that 12% mark.
Someone who really, really spins it. And on tour, would you see a Rory, a Scheffler in this?
You'd see more players on tour into this model. Obviously, they're elite golfers.
Yeah.
They can hit anything. So for them, it's dialing in the numbers. They're gonna like this model. But then, as you want to create a little bit more forgiveness, we then move up into our Qi35. So our standard head. We refer to it as Taylormade as core model. But you know, it's not called the core model.
It hasn't got another name along.
It's just the Qi35. Now in this, we've got a slightly more oversized footprint on the head to make it look more forgiving, make it look a lot friendlier than the LS model. You sit those next to each other, you can see
looks longer.
They're both 460cc. They both still share that low CG location, so we're controlling spin, high area of opportunity. But one of the things we've changed and brought this year versus last year is that we've now got movable weight front and back. So we've not got 3, we've got 2 weights. At stock, it'll be 13 at the back, 3 at the front. You flip those, which is actually how I've got this set up here. You flip those and you turn a hugely forgiving driver into a lower spinning model.
Clever.
Now, personally, I've always been an LS player. I've always been a compact head shape, whether it's been in Stealth Plus, Stealth 2 Plus, Qi10 LS. I've done bundles of testing already with this, and this will be where I am next year.
Really?
Because for me, this offered me a very forgiving looking head. I can stand there, I can hit it hard because it looks so forgiving, but it just doesn't spin up. So it just goes out there. It's actually longer for me than the LS.
So the function in this driver, come back to your 3 pillars, the function in this driver really also gives you the fitting element as well. Not only is it hugely forgiving and fits more players, actually, we can fit and play around with this, we can turn it into something that maybe it wasn't intended to be in the first place.
And if we compare this as well to Qi10, which it's replacing, the MOI, when it's in that standard weight setting with the 13 at the back, is actually 9,000. So it's gone up by like 500 MOI points, which is huge. So you've got a way more forgiving product at standard, and then you can make it a low spin product.
Sounds interesting. It's going to be interesting to fit with.
And fast. Good flight.
Wow.
Very good.
So what have we got next? So we've got LS core, now we're into...
We talked about last year 10K MOI. That was what Qi10 was about, Quest for Inertia 10,000. We've got Qi35 Max, which is our 10,000 MOI driver. Obviously, because it doesn't say Qi10 on it anymore, you'll see on the graphics, little equation on the bottom there to tell you that it's still 10,000.
Like that.
As Taylormade, we like to tell a story in our product. In this, we've gone back to having the same neck length as the other models, which we didn't last year. It was a slightly shorter neck length. The other thing we've done is we've improved aerodynamics massively. So what we've now done is create a 10K MOI driver but it's faster than it was last year.
Okay.
So we've got
and
that
how much
huge
faster?
stability.
So in testing, where are we talking? Because it was good last year.
Me personally, on my testing I've done, I gained year on year Qi10 max versus Qi35 max. I gained 2.5 mile an hour club head speed. So from aerodynamics, 1/4 inch longer in shaft. There's actually a little bit less mass in the head, so it's 1.5 grams lighter. Doesn't sound like a lot, but in golf terms, that is
massive.
It's almost a swing weight. So I gained 2.5 mile an hour club head speed, and I gained 3.5 mile an hour ball speed.
So what does that mean? So because the viewers at home, when they watch this, they're really nice numbers to know, and they can see them on TrackMan. What does that actually mean to them? Distance
3.5 mile an hour ball speed, really that's going to equate to somewhere around kind of that 9-10 yard gain if you keep everything else level.
Assuming the
spin and launch remain in the same place. Now obviously we talked about that lower CG position. I actually saw closer to a 15 yard gain because the spin came down and the ball speed went up.
Interesting. And I think what's really fascinating for me is from a fit, and you'll sort of explain more of this, I know, but when you talk about this, year on year for the last 20 years, right? Every time you bring a driver out, not just you, but every brand on the planet, they talk about an extra 5 yards, extra 10 yards, extra 7 yards. At one point, I think Taylormade had a 17 yard gain back in the day, right? And the consumer sometimes gets a bit tired of that story, but I think where they miss with it is actually the benefit into the green. So when you're 10 yards longer, you're actually hitting an 8 iron rather than a 7 iron. And you're hitting a 7 iron rather than a 6 iron. Therefore, theoretically, you should be more accurate. You should get the ball closer to the hole, make more birdies, hopefully more pars, whatever. That's where you're going with it?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. The thing is as well about distance gain, this is where we go back to kind of being a little bit more relevant, and why you see now, like, we won't talk about, like, we won't put a number on a distance gain and so on, because if I was comparing year-on-year products of what I gained this year to Qi35, so Qi10 LS I was gaining this year, into Qi35 LS, I gained a yard.
So like for like?
Like for like, I gained a yard.
Not worth talking about,
But I changed model, I gained over 10 yards.
Yeah. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. That you've got a wider breadth of product that can do different things for different types of golfers, and that's how you're gaining the yardage, not just like for like. Yeah,
it's not always a like for like yardage. It is, you might have to move into another product that you're not normally playing.
And from as a fitter, you're on the road a lot, and you will be on the road next year, seeing a lot of golfers, a lot of different standard of golfer. Do you come up against that battle? That is, I'm an LS player, I need LS. And you spend your life trying to just find the best performing product.
And sometimes I'd agree with it. I was in that boat a little bit myself, in that I was really reluctant to go into more forgiving product over the years. The more that I've done testing with product, it does take me a couple of testing sessions to get out of something that I'm used to. Honestly,
is that look related or performance related?
It is. So the way I would say that, we'll go away from drivers for a second. I was always a plain white golf ball player, and I'm now a picks player.
Are you really?
Because
see me in the trees.
Yeah, exactly that. But it's that, that's your perception. You've always played that product, so you want to be in that product.
Sometimes I get it. Like that. I get it. So we've gone to 3. Let's go to driver 4.
Let's go to 4. So this is where we are now going towards kind of our slower swing speed golfer.
Okay.
So it's our Qi35 Max Lite.
Max Lite.
So it's based on our 35 Max product. So we start with a 10k head. However, because we've removed mass from the back of the driver, because we're going to make a lighter head weight here, it does fall under the 10k MOI, but that golfer, they've not got as much speed. So stability, it's still a very, very high forgiving driver and high MOI inertia, but it's now just lighter, so it can create more speed. So there's 12 grams lighter weight at the back.
Okay.
At stock, you'll have this very light Vanquish 40 shafting, available in Reg and A-Flex. Even the grip is 9 grams lighter. So the whole product is a lot lighter, and you can feel that when you feel that product versus the Max, how much lighter that is. But it's still an achievable, playable swing weight that the golfer can use, because we've lightened the head, the grip, and the shaft.
In my mind, this is a fitter's dream.
Yes.
Because the amount of players that want the standard style looking product but actually need something that's lighter, and when you can start to play with head weight in a driver for a player that has got a lower swing speed and higher swing speed, but more predominantly for that lower swing speed player, it can really have a huge effect on performance, can't it? Yes. It really can.
So this is going to be for that guy that needs more swing speed. You know, this product, you know, you can play that at speed. This is for somebody that needs more swing speed. We done some testing. One of the girls down at the office saw huge gains from her Qi10 Max that she was playing this year by going into Max Lite. She was a slow swing speed player, around about that 70 mile an hour swing speed with driver. Saw huge gains with this product.
Wow. So there's 4 drivers.
So in terms of our 5th driver, now this is where we tick off that 3 pillars, that fit element. Is in your fitting bay, you will have drivers which will look ever so slightly different. So this will be in the LS, the 35 and the Max product. You'll see on the shelf that there are these 6 rectangles on the face here. So these 6 rectangles, these will be identifiable in your fitting product because they will be white. They will be built into the layers of carbon. Obviously we can do that because we've got carbon faces, they're layers, it's under the coating on the top, so it's not going to come off. They're going to be reflective markers, so they will work with launch monitors. So launch monitor like your GC Quad will pick up these markers. Now obviously you're a TrackMan user here at AF. It will still work with TrackMan because what we've done, we've sent CAD imagery over to TrackMan, so that when you select the driver that you're using, you can select that you're using whatever Taylormade product you want, so a Qi35 LS, and it will pick up, rather than just picking up a blob of a driver, it will pick up the exact dimensions to give you the perfect impact location.
Is this the world's first fitting driver that has got the fitting tech in it?
The first launch monitor enabled driver.
Oh, there's your term.
Yeah.
I didn't know the actual term. That sounds better.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's going to give us what? In a fitting?
In terms of fitting, gives you maximum accuracy. Okay. Maximum accuracy in club data.
Because what our viewers may not know is that indoors, quite often you're seeing an RCT ball from your friends.
Yeah.
You're seeing a dot put on the ball, a dot put on the face by the guys at Foresight. They put the dots on the face. So they're using other tools to make sure that the data they're getting back into their launch monitors are as accurate as possible.
Yes.
You've just ripped that apart, blown that apart, and said, "No, we'll just do it in the head."
We'll just build a driver head to give you that ability. Yeah,
that's phenomenal. And you've tested this head already?
Yeah.
And how does it look for you?
It's great. It looks like, look is absolutely fine. Like, look's not an issue to me at all. When you're looking down, yes, like a dress, you can just about see these 6 dots on the face, but you know, we're used to having little lines on the face. You can already see there's lines on the face of this. It wasn't off-putting. Yeah. It's in fitting product, obviously.
And if it gives you better data to fit with and get the product, then
exactly
then
that.
Happy
it
days.
gives us the most accurate data. Because let's be honest, I know again we're going to talk about quad here rather than TrackMan, but when it comes to putting dots on the face of the driver, human error can be involved.
Yes.
And if you don't put the dot in the perfect space,
you've had it.
If effectively your data is not going to be as accurate as it could be, we take that out of there.
Now we haven't got a fitting head here.
Yeah.
But we are going to hit some of this product.
We are, yes.
So I'm going to jump in. You fitted me last year for Qi10.
Yeah.
I was in standard head. I couldn't spin the ball, if you remember.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go in standard core product.
Yep.
Should we have a hit?
Let's have a hit.
Let's do. So guys, we're going to have a go with this. It's Qi35. Lee's giving me the core head. So this is probably the comparative head that I hit in Qi10 that Lee fitted for me down at Basingstoke, their head office. 10.5 degrees. I've got a little cheeky diamana in here. So let's have a little hit with it. Oh, there's your toe one, Lee. Is this where this... I mean, I've used every opportunity with that one, Lee.
So even considering how high out the toe that was, you know, spin didn't dip down dramatically low. I mean, it was 1800, but it wasn't dramatically
Not as bad as it has been for me. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Good.
Oh, wow.
Very good.
That was ripped.
Yeah.
Slightly off the bottom, actually. It felt really, really solid.
Okay.
But it was actually slightly off the bottom.
Yeah.
How was that looking?
And considering it's at the bottom, it's 2.6 in spin, which is still fine. It's still healthy. It's not climbed up too high.
Come on, Lee, distance. I'm only interested in yardage.
Distance, we're at 2.97 normalised.
Total or carry?
Total.
Yeah.
Carry 2.68.
2.68, right, come on, let's warm up a little bit. Oh my days. Oh my days.
Pick that up.
That was unbelievable. You're telling me Trackman didn't pick that up? Unbelievable. It's a bit dark and dingy out here, isn't it? Oh, that's my toe. Lee, come on. I tell you what.
But again, considering where you're spreading strike at the moment,
all right, Lee,
they're still absolutely fine. They're in play.
I mean, talk about spreading strike. I mean, I don't know if Lee, Chris, you can pick that up on camera, but that is incredibly battered all over the face. We're absolutely
it's still gone. It's still gone just under 2.76, and it's not really far off line either.
Right, come on, because of it. That was so out the bottom, that was horrendous. What is clear, I'm making sure that I'm using every opportunity to... Come on. I'll tell you one thing that does, I do like the look of it.
Yep.
When we saw this, now I'm going to be honest with you, when we saw this in last month, November?
I think
we saw it in the showroom.
Yes.
My gut reaction was that the core model was too big.
Yeah.
It just looked horrible. But I think that's because it was a showroom. I put it behind the ball.
So I thought when I first saw it,
yep.
I thought the same as you, but it's because I had it next to the LS. Okay. You take the LS away from it,
yep.
and you put it like we have here. The LS is at the back of the room here, and we're hitting this core model next to the ball.
You don't know any different.
You don't notice it.
Yeah. Come on, a couple more.
Really good.
Sounds so solid, doesn't it?
Really solid. Really solid.
Yeah, one more. I think that feels fantastic. That is as solid as a driver as I've felt in a long time. I must admit, I wasn't too convinced with the look.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% on the kind of greyness of it, if you like, the lightness of the head, but I think that's just my preference. Comes back to what we were talking about earlier of what you like the look of, and it would take me a few times to have a hit with this. Feel-wise, I can't argue with it. Overall, I think it's going to be a really good driver for you guys in 2025. Lee, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about the product. It's been really fascinating listening to you talk about how good this product is. Guys, keep watching, because the next video we are going to do, Lee and I are going to talk through fairway woods and hybrids to make sure that you can hit more fairways, more greens, and ultimately make a lower score in 2025. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe and tell all your golfing friends.